Hey, it's Kelly. Welcome back to my channel where we talk all about skincare and how to glow from the inside out. Tonight, I want to do a chatty skincare routine. I feel like I haven't done one in a moment, but I really enjoy just like kind of slowing things down and just having a real nice chat while we do some skincare. Tonight is a retinol night, so I'll be using my Retinaldehyde and just kind of showing you how I'm surviving this deep winter. My skin feels so dry. Tonight, I want to talk about some of the downsides of being an influencer or a skinfluencer, because I've been doing this for 7 years now, and like, don't get me wrong, I am so incredibly blessed and so grateful to be doing this as a job. It really has changed my life in the most positive way. But I do think that there's some misunderstandings about this line of work. And I think that there are some downsides and some trade-offs, to this work as well. So I kind of want to get a little bit, real, maybe a little vulnerable with you and kind of share some of the behind the scenes, stuff, about this. So if you're so ready to dive into this chatty skincare routine, give the video a big thumbs up and let's get started. And before I get into a cleanse in this chatty routine, I want to share 3 things that I'm really grateful for and really love and consider an upside of being a skinfluencer. Number 1, I get to talk about something I'm passionate about every single day and really put myself into something that I really do enjoy. I get to be my own boss. I get to make my own schedule, and I get to, be the leader of this ship. And, I get to try lots of new skincare. As I said, this is definitely something I am passionate about. I've been interested in for a very long time, even off camera and off of YouTube. And I've really enjoyed it for so long. And so to get to try lots of new products, the newest, latest things, it's really a blessing. Yes, I am wearing a headband over my clips because these hairs just cannot be tamed. So anyways, I'm going to go in for a cleanse. I do have some makeup on and a little bit of sunscreen, but not a lot, not water resistant sunscreen. I've got some concealer and some brow makeup on. So I'm actually just going to use one cleanser. I don't feel like I need a double cleanse. So this is from Roche-Posay. It's the Gentle Foaming Cleansing Oil. And contrary to the name, this actually doesn't contain any oil. It's just a really gentle, slightly moisturizing gel foaming cleanser. All right, so first up, I think one of the downsides of being in this industry, I think a lot of people just think it's easy. That you just kind of like turn on the camera and you just do what you normally would do and just kind of like talk and that's it. And it's super easy and you're not working very hard and it doesn't take a lot of time. And that's just not the case at all. It takes so much time, so much effort. I mean, I was filming another video before this one and I started filming around 1 video, 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and with all the setup and everything that it took and all the different shots and everything, it's almost 7 o'clock right now. So I've been filming for 7 hours and I'm going to get 2 videos out of it. And then of course, I started filming at 1, but what was I doing this morning? I was responding to emails, responding to comments. I was doing a little bit of research into some other projects that I'm working on. And people really do think that, you just film the video and you upload it. There's a whole editing process that can take, a good 4 or 5 hours of dedicated work, truly. And then all those ingredient cards that I put on the screen, I make those. So those, take some time as well. And they periodically need updating because ingredients change. Yes, I know I am washing my face quite a bit, but I like to be very thorough. And a lot of my time too, I spend answering comments, answering messages, answering emails, doing business stuff like balancing your books, right? And figuring out if you have enough money to pay your bills by the end of the month. Always researching into new trends, researching into new ingredients, researching into new brands, researching, and always just kind of coming up with new ways to keep things fresh and interesting for myself, but also for you. There's a lot. It's a whole business. It's basically a small business. And until very recently, I was also working on the weekends. I was able to reclaim my weekends back, but especially when I was first getting started, I didn't take a weekend. I didn't take a day off for a couple years, truly. Okay, this is the Torriden Solid In Lip Essence because of my Lips are feeling a little bit dry. I love this one. It's fragrance free. It's really comfy and cushy, but it's got like just a nice little gloss to it as well. And then I'm going in for the Make Prem Relief Essence Toner. It's back, baby. You know I love this one. I recently filmed an empties video and there was 2 empties of that toner since my last empties video. And then I was like, oh yeah, and I just opened this one because there it is. I absolutely love it. So it's funny, you know, I'm saying, oh, it's so much work. My niece, she's 15, and you know, people are like, okay, so like, what are you thinking about, like with college? Are you thinking majors? Like, what do you want to do with the rest of your life? You're only 15, right? And she said, oh, well, I'll just do what you do. Like, I'll just make a video and it'll go viral. And then that's just what I'm going to do. And I was like, that's great. And if you want help and tips, I will definitely give it to you. But please don't think that this is easy. And please don't think that I'll just make a video and I'll just go viral. It doesn't work like that. And, you know, I've seen a lot of people who do go viral, who actually do get that shot, who are so lucky and everything just kind of lines up the right way and their piece of content just shoots up and you know what I mean? Like it's very successful. And then you don't hear from them again because they don't know how to capitalize on that. They don't know how to move forward from that because one piece of viral content, it means very little these days. It's not about one piece of content. It's about a lot of pieces of content working over a long period of time. So I'm just doing a second layer of the toner because why not? It feels so good. So this is the Haruharu Black Rice Probiotics Barrier Essence, which you know I absolutely love, and I don't have very much left. I'm savoring every drop of this. This has been saving my skin this winter. You know, let's talk about TikTok because by the time this comes out, the ban on TikTok will have taken effect. And in the United States anyways. And I'm really, for the first time, really grateful that I did not put a lot of effort into my TikTok page. Oh, I remember when TikTok really started to blow up during the pandemic and I was like, I don't have the energy to put into another platform. I was really burnt out at that point in time, you know, on everything because I just was telling you how much work everything is. And I was really struggling at that point in time and I just could not wrap my head around another social media app. And now it's getting banned and I see so many of my creator friends and colleagues are scrambling because they did put all their energy into one app and it's disappearing. Not quite overnight because we've kind of been watching this, you know, unfolding in real time. Nobody nobody thought it was going to actually happen, and now it is. And something could change. And I got to be upfront with you. This probably isn't coming out for another 2 weeks. So right now is January 17th. It's going to be banned in 2 days. But by the time this comes out in 2-3 weeks, maybe it'll be reversed. You know, I don't know. But just the fear of losing all your hard work. Right? Especially if you don't back up your work. If you're working on your phone and only posting onto TikTok, everybody's scrambling to download all their content right now. You might lose your work. You're going to lose access to your audience that you work so hard for, and you lose access to your platform because you don't own any of it. So this is the VT PDRN 100 Essence, and this is also a really milky texture that I absolutely love, and it's just been a really good winter essence serum. I really treat it like a serum. It's just been really great for my skin. So this is the Skin 1004 Probio-Cica Bakuchiol Eye Cream. I've been using this in a lot of my routines lately. It feels so good. So, you know, speaking of instability, let's talk money, right? Because there is a really good opportunity to make good money in this line of work. Absolutely. And that's a big part of the reason why I say I'm blessed to be able to do this. And I'm so grateful for being given this opportunity. Well, I made the opportunity, but I'm just so blessed that it worked out. Let me put it that way. And that you guys give me your trust, you know, week after week, year after year. It really means so much to me. And I have been able to improve my life quite a bit by doing this. And I definitely make more money than I did when I was working as an optician many years ago, over 7 years ago now at this point. And I'm very grateful for that, definitely, because I've been able to create more financial stability for myself by doing this work. That being said, though, it's so hard to make money. There's good money to be made, do not get me wrong, but it is so hard to get started. And I will say, when I started in 2018, I didn't really start making money until maybe it was more like the middle of 2019 is when things started to pick up for me. And I was like, I think I can maybe do this full time. Maybe it was still a big financial sacrifice at that point. When I started my channel, I had lost my job. So I had no income coming in, but I was just so totally broken down by the whole thing. And I think that's going to be another chatty skincare routine, like how I started my channel. I didn't start making money until about a year and a half into it, which is actually still very good. And I didn't start making anything meaningful until the pandemic. The pandemic actually, this is so gross to say, was kind of a blessing for me personally, just because my content really started to take off at that point in time because everybody was watching content, right? And it was a true, it brought a lot of meaning to what I was doing too, because I felt like I was truly there for people and helping them through a difficult time. But there was some good money to be made because there was more people watching, videos. So I make money off of, ad revenue, right? Those annoying ads that play at the beginning of every YouTube video. I hate them too. But I do get a little kickback from that. And all of the videos that I put out throughout the years, if people are still watching them, I still get some money off of that monthly, which is very, very helpful. It's almost like royalties in a way. And then, of course, if you use my codes that I put in the pinned comment in the description box, if you use those codes, I do get a commission from your purchase. And I'm so grateful for everybody who does use the codes because it helps so much. Everything adds up, right? So it's incredibly helpful. And honestly, the difference between me being able to make my month to month is oftentimes it comes down to the links and the codes, because the ad revenue, it's always fluctuating. Even if I had the same amount of views from month to month, what advertisers are paying and what YouTube balances out versus the clicks versus the views, I even have a hard time understanding how it all works out, but it's not always the same from month to month. You know what I'm saying? So, and it's not enough to make the month. It's a good portion of what I need, but it's not everything. And like I said, when it comes down to it, in order to be able to live, it's the links, it's the commission. So I'm incredibly grateful. And if you can't purchase, that's fine. Views are amazing too, right? And sponsorships, I have to say, that's where all the money is at. There's a lot of good money there, but they can be very few and far between, honestly. And I have to say, let me put my retinol on, then we'll talk about sponsorships. So this is the Paula's Choice Retinaldehyde Dual Retinoid Treatment. And this is a Retinaldehyde, or Retinal with an A. And then there's a little bit of a novel version of adapalene in here. So there's 2 retinoids in here. And this has been, that this is my MVP favorite product from 2024. I love this stuff. This has cleared up my skin like nobody's business. So let's settle into that. Let's let that kind of absorb before I move on to my next step. We're going to talk sponsorships because like I'm saying, the money is so it's really, what's the word I'm looking for? Not stable. That's the word. So with sponsorships, sometimes you will make what you need for 3 months in one sponsorship. Sometimes you won't. It depends. But I'm just saying it can be a bulk of money there, but then you won't have a sponsorship for 6 months, So it's you get that money, but you have to make it last. So you feel like you're rolling in the dough, but you're really not. So you really do have to have some budgeting skills and an ability to balance. Last year, I hardly had any sponsorships because, just like somebody who works a 9 to 5, I am also tied to the economy and how well I do or don't do and how well my business runs, essentially, right? So with the economy being so difficult and prices being so high, and people, like our pay is not keeping up with the rise in prices, right? So less people were clicking links and using the codes, right? So the commission was down, and then a lot of brands weren't putting in a lot of money into campaigns. They were being very conservative, fiscally speaking, with campaigns, or they weren't running as many campaigns, or they weren't paying as much as they used to. So I didn't do a lot of sponsorships last year, and my wallet felt it, you know what I'm saying? And like I said, I don't rely on them, but they are majorly helpful. But it's just, they are so difficult to navigate because, first and foremost, I could be making a lot more money than I do, because I could be taking every sponsorship that comes my way. And I could be making a lot of money. I feel really icky about that though, because so many of them are asking, first of all, so many of them are like not even what either one of us would be interested in. They're like skincare brands that like nobody's ever heard of, or they're not in alignment with like the things that we appreciate in skincare, which is, really smart formulations, mostly fragrance free, right? Things that don't contain essential oils. So sometimes it's like, I just feel like there's shady kind of brands out there, or ones that I just don't think you would be interested in because I'm not interested in them. Or, they'll pass like the product check and the ingredient check, but then it's like the brand is asking for some kind of, they want to control, the content creatively, and they want you to like read a script. That makes me incredibly uncomfortable because it has to, you know what I mean? I have to be excited about it, but I also have to be able to say what I want to say about it. You know what I mean? So if there's a con to a product or like a downside, I want to be able to voice that. I want to be able to point out what I personally like about the product, not what the brand wants me to say to you about the product, like basically just parroting marketing copy, right? So I usually have to pass on brands that have like a lot of, they want to control the content, or they think that I'm an actor, right? And they're giving me a script to read, and then I have to produce the content, but they don't want me to speak. Do you know what I'm saying? I hate that. I won't accept those sponsorships. I've had some that have asked me to do shady stuff, like not say it's sponsored. That's a hard no. Absolutely. Well, you will never, ever, ever come across anything that I've ever done. If I was paid, if it was sponsored, you will know about it. I will tell you about it like 5 different times. Like I over communicate that. It's in the title. It's in the hashtags. I say it. I put it as text on screen. I have that pop up on YouTube, that little box that pops up that says contains paid promotion, right? I will do everything that I possibly can to let you know that I received money to create this content. I only do things that make me feel good in my gut, right? And that I feel are not going to overwhelm you, because I'm very protective of you all. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to just put anything in front of you. So yeah, I turn down more than I accept. And even when you do all of those things, right? And you check all the boxes, and you do a lot of due diligence, and you do a lot of research, and you feel really good about it from top to bottom, the content never usually performs very well. And oftentimes, people are just incredibly skeptical, and you should be, but are incredibly skeptical about the content itself. So it's just, yeah, there's a lot of good opportunity there, but at the same time, like, you don't want to do too many of them if you want to have longevity, right? And I do. I want this to be a career. I don't want this to be a moment in time. All right, Stratia Lipid Gold and Fortify Oil. I'm doing like a pump and a half there. Did you see that half pump? That was pretty good, huh? All right, so I've got my 1.5 pumps, and then I'm doing 3, no more drops of the Fortify Facial Oil Blend, and then I just mix it. You know the drill here. This hasn't changed since 2018. Okay, so what else did I want to tell you about all of this? Yeah, I mean, I often will get comments on my content, especially like stuff that's been out for a while, or maybe people aren't familiar with my channel, especially like on shorts here on YouTube. And people will be like, is this sponsored? I'm like, no. If it was sponsored, trust me, you wouldn't be able to escape all of the warnings that I give you about sponsored content. But you know, the thing is, a lot of people are not doing that, right? A lot of people aren't banging you over the head with how sponsored it is. And, you know, I understand that because like I said, like the content does not perform well when you do that. And you want the content to perform well so that you're, you know, whoever's sponsoring you is happy, right? That they invested so much money in you. And hopefully if you like them and you like the partnership, that they want to come back and sponsor you again, right? Like you want to do well for the brand, but you want to do well for your audience. But it's a really difficult balance, really difficult. So like I said, like I have a lot of sympathy and empathy for people who I get why they do what they do. But on the other hand, there's a lot of tomfoolery out there too. And I think that's another thing that I think is a downside. I have to say, I'm kind of a funny person, I guess, but when I meet somebody like face to face, like in real life, you know, and they're not like Googling me, right? They don't know what I do. And they just know me as Kelly, or they're just being introduced to me and they're like, oh, what do you do? And I'm like, I always trip and stumble over my words. Sometimes it depends. Sometimes I kind of lie and I'm just like, oh, you know, I work in social media or I work in marketing. Especially if it's like, you go to like a quick appointment or something. People are like, oh, what are you doing? You're like, oh, working. They're like, oh, what do you do? It's like, well, I just do social media. Like, cause I just don't want to get into it. And then if it's somebody that I'm like getting to know, right? Then I get kind of uncomfortable. I'm like a content creator. And they're like, what does that mean? I'm like, oh, I make YouTube videos. But I very rarely use the word influencer because I feel like that word is a very recognizable word, and people will be like, oh yeah, I know exactly. Like when you say content creator, people don't really know. Some people know, some people don't, right? They don't get the lingo. People know I make YouTube videos. They get that. That's a really easy way to do it. But when you say influencer, there's a very specific idea of what that means. And I don't really identify with that because I feel like the word influencer has gotten like a really bad reputation. You know, I mean, they think I'm doing this all day long, right? And I'm not. So yeah, I don't like the word, and I shy away from using it because I feel like I hate being lumped in with all of that. And right, clicking your nails is fine and fun and whatever, but I don't feel comfortable with people thinking about me that way. So it does make meeting people very difficult, kind of awkward. I am just an awkward person, and I make it awkward. So this is Pyunkang Yul 80 Cream Blue Label Moisturizer. I really like this cream, but it's just a little light for me right now. And I just want to remind you, it is like 1 degree outside right now. It's very cold, and in here is very dry. And so just deep winter is really rough on my skin. So the other 9 months of the year, this is just the perfect breathable medium light cream that works to fight against dehydration. But since it is a little bit light, I'm just going to use a pea-sized amount of the Roche-Posay Cicaplast Balm and mix that in because it, first and foremost, has 1% of dimethicone in it, which is a great occlusive ingredient. So I'm actually getting a slugging effect by mixing a little bit of this into my cream. And then it's going to bulk up the Pyunkang Yul cream too, make it a little bit creamier, a little fluffier, and a little bit more moisturizing. Okay, so what's the final thing I wanted to talk about? I guess you've probably been waiting for me to talk about like haters and comments, right? Yeah, let's talk about it. Let's get into it. So I will say that it's the least of my worries. Honestly, it really is. And it honestly took me a while to get to that place. And when I first started, like any kind of negative comment, I just, anything that was critical, I hated it so much. It made me so uncomfortable. I remember I would go off for like days, like, well, how dare this person say this and blah, 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 and this, that, and the other, and they don't understand. Like it would get in my head and it would do exactly what hater comments want you to do, right? Like to get you in your head and to get you anxious and to get you feeling insecure and make you question everything you're doing, right? It took me a while to get past that, quite honestly. And now it's just kind of like, okay. Honestly, anybody who is in bad faith, right? Truly in bad faith, leaving hate comments, where they're just like, I hate you, you're ugly, you're stupid, how, whatever they're doing, they're trolling, right? Whatever they're doing, anything like that done in true bad faith. Now, you know what I mean? And when I see that, and it happens, and when I see that, I'm just like, I feel so bad for that person because I see their pain. You know what I mean? They want to inflict pain on me by saying, hateful, negatively charged words, right? But it's just, honestly, I just see a person who is struggling so hard. I feel really bad for them. I delete their comments and I block them, no doubt. But I'm just saying, like, I feel bad for them because the energy of that is just, it's rough. You know what I mean? Like, it's hard out there. People are struggling. There was one time, I will say, where I was like, get my name out of your mouth. Somebody really, I think that, I could see their pain. I think something was really not right with this person, but this was a couple of years ago. But they were really, really pressed about me talking about a particular brand that had some controversy online in the past. And they were accusing me of all kinds of heinous things. Like, they were like, are you a racist? How could you support this brand? Now, mind you, I was just saying, I like this cream. It's really moisturizing. And they were calling me a racist. They were calling me fake. They were saying I was a liar. They were saying that I was getting a paycheck from this brand. I was not. There we go. We're talking about sponsorships, right? You're paid by the brand and you're lying about it. They said I don't support healthcare, which is like, for me, I was like, that's wild because like my whole struggle of my adult life has been trying to afford healthcare. I totally am all about affordable, accessible, universal healthcare in the United States. It's such a broken system. So that really, because that's like a personal thing for me. And I was like, how dare you? They spewed all of this. And it was interesting because it was the same person, but they had multiple accounts. And they were doing this all under the YouTube video. And then they went to Reddit and they posted like an entire manifesto, like paragraphs and paragraphs and paragraphs. I think it was the Beauty Guru Chatter subreddit or whatever. So it's all people just complaining about influencers. And I don't follow it at all. Somebody actually, somebody else who was on the list brought it to my attention on Instagram in DMs. They were like, you're in it too. And I was like, don't tell me, I don't want to know. But I looked at it, of course. They were going off about everybody who had ever said anything halfway nice about this brand. And it was just like paragraphs and paragraphs and paragraphs of just hateful negativity. And a lot of people in the comments were like, what? What is this? You're unhinged. I feel really bad for that person, but they've been blocked for many, many years. All of their multiple accounts have been blocked off of this channel. So stuff like that can happen. I am done now. I'm all glazed and glossed up like a donut, so I think it's a good time to sign off for tonight. Thank you for being here with me. I'm curious your thoughts about any of this. Let me know in the comments below. If for some reason this is the first video you're watching from me, please hit subscribe, especially if you made it to the end, and turn on notifications so you're never out of the loop. I post a lot of skincare content here on YouTube. I hope that you're healthy, happy, and safe, and I hope that you keep shining your light, and I will talk to you in the next video. All right, love you so much. Bye.